1 out of every 4 students in the United States is bullied. That's 25% of students. On any given day, as many as 160,000 students stay home from school because they are so afraid of being bullied. In a survey, 1 out of 3 students said that they have heard another student threaten to kill someone. Every 30 minutes, a teenage student attempts suicide because of bullying, and every 5 minutes, at least 47 students are bullied. 47 students in 5 minutes. There are about 282,000 students who are reportedly attacked in high schools in our nation every month. These are just some of the cold hard facts. Have you ever wondered why there are shootings at schools? Well, the sad truth is that most of these shootings are the results of bullying. Although this is arguably the worst effect that bullying can have, it isn't the only one. Students that are bullied can experience physical symptoms such as headaches, stomach aches, and even problems sleeping. They may be afraid to go certain places, such as the bathroom, the playground, or anywhere else they have previously been bullied. Students that are bullied also find it harder to concentrate in school, and as a result may find their grades slipping. Bullied students also tend to lose confidence in themselves. They may experience low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, or they may lash out in violent ways, such as shooting people at their school, like I mentioned before. Being bullied can also lead to self-harm, which has become an epidemic, not just in our nation, but across the world. Instead of focusing on the emotional pain that bullying brings, the person being bullied will hurt themselves, just so that they can focus on the physical pain instead. It can also lead to eating disorders and abuse of drugs and alcohol. This speech isn't just me spouting off random facts and figures. I have my own stories. I've dealt with bullying for the past 9 years that I've lived in North Dakota. I know what it's like to be pushed so close to that edge. My dad was in the military for the first 10 years of my life. We moved around quite a bit, and for a while, we even lived in Germany. When he finally retired, we all moved to where my mom grew up, a small town named Beulah, North Dakota. The summer was fun. Then I started 5th grade. It was great at first. I made new friends and had fun, but then I made a mistake. I told people that I had ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. They started making fun of me for it, calling me names. I can't exactly remember what they called me because it was so long ago. This continued until 7th grade. Something very personal happened to my family, and people started making fun of me for that. One boy in particular was absolutely ruthless. He made it so that I didn't even want to go to school. One winter, he even pushed my brother into a mud puddle just because he was my brother. No matter what I did, he wouldn't stop. He finally grew out of it by freshman year. But there are always other people who like to call me names like fat and stupid, as well as some other very, very inappropriate names. For example, in my sophomore year, a video got sent around of one of my classmates having sex. She was obviously upset, so I tried to comfort her. Her twin sister then proceeded to blame my boyfriend at the time for putting her name on the description when he really didn't. Of course, I stood up for him. She didn't like that too much, so every once in a while she bullied me. I remember the last time it happened quite clearly. It was a month into senior year, and I was sitting behind her in English class. I was fidgeting, and she started freaking out. She told me to stop. I tried, I really did. But because of my ADHD, I fidget. So I started again, not on purpose, mind you, and she started freaking out even more. She pushed my agenda off my desk and grabbed my hand. After I managed to rip my hand out of hers, I picked up my agenda back off the floor. She then tried to push it back onto the floor along with my other things that I had on the desk. She started calling me retarded and a biatch. Then she threatened to kick my butt. And then she said she was going to kill me if I didn't stop. By this time, it had escalated to the point where the teacher heard. She sort of intervened by making me change seats. As I was getting up, the girl said, "Hurry up, fat butt." That really ticked me off. I walked out of the room and went to the bathroom and cried. Whenever I get really angry or frustrated, I cry. After a few minutes in the bathroom, I went to the counselor and told him what had happened. Then I went to the principal. He didn't really deal with it. All he said was that if he saw us both in his office again together, we would both get in school suspensions. Another example of the bullying I went through also happened in senior year. My friends and I always sat together in our social studies class. There was a boy who made fun of my friend and I at least once a day in class. Halfway through the year, I finally got sick of it. On that certain day, this boy was making fun of both my friend and I. He was saying certain things such as my friend and I were stupid, the usual snarky comments. But that day I had had enough. I slammed the book that I was reading down onto my desk and stood up. I was practically yelling at him, and I remember telling him that if he wanted to pick on someone, he should at least choose someone that had the same brain size he did. There were also a few choice words exchanged. I can remember everyone in the class just staring at me while I stood there. I guess they were surprised that I had stood up for myself, but I was sick of him treating us like we were less than nothing. Needless to say, my friend and I got sent to the principal's office yet again. This time the principal took a different approach. He listened to our side of the story, then called in the boy who'd been doing the teasing, along with 2 other people that I thought I could count on to tell the truth. Before I knew it, the story was being twisted around so that it looked like my friend and I were the bad guys. And of course, those people I thought I could count on, well, they were on the other boy's side. Thankfully, after everything was said and done, the principal let us off with a warning. But it just goes to show you how far bullies will go. It's sad that our principal was like that, though. He should have done more to intervene. I could go on and on about my experiences, but I only have one more thing to say. Bullying can push people to the edge, and once they've been pushed over that edge, there's no going back. I have been pushed there too many times to count by the people around me who said nasty things, but thankfully I have a great family that helped me through it. Sometimes people aren't that lucky, and that's when suicides and school shootings happen. So bullying needs to stop. If you're the person doing the bullying, I hope you learned at least one thing from me. Or maybe you're the one like me who took all the bullying without saying anything. Stand up for yourself. Take that first stand. It will surprise them. They won't know what hit them. And I promise you it feels great to stand up for yourself. Or maybe you're the one who just stands by idly, just watching, not stepping in because you're too afraid of what people will think. Well, who cares what people think? School is only a portion of our lives, and after you graduate, you realize how silly it was that you cared so much. So jump in the middle and stand up for the people too afraid to stand up for themselves. You'll make a difference, I promise.